ביחס למנצחים בעונה 4, חוויית נסיעה מטורפת ברכב מרוץ פרוטוטייפ במסלול ארד.
Hello everybody and welcome to a gloomy Circuit Gilles Villeneuve here in Montreal, Canada for what is going to be race 12 of the iRacing Israel League presented by Sim Race season number 4. My name's Dane Baird in the commentary booth today, and we've got Mark Tranter up in production as well. We do also have Alex Skinner, who is going to be joining us in just a few moments time, but today, race number 12 of the season. I believe it's round 9. And today, we are, of course, at Montreal in the F3 cars. It's going to be a very interesting race, altitude of 8 meters. We're right on the river in Montreal in this man-made island circuit. It's a very interesting one, street circuit. The walls are very close, as I'm sure we're going to see multiple times here today. Quite a lot of drivers probably going to end up in those walls. We've got 22 of them on the grid here today, and we're just underway in qualifying. You can see some of the cars out on circuit now. Most of the drivers have already finished their allotted 2 qualifying laps in this 10-minute session. Only a couple of drivers still out on track. This is Villeneuve in the number 91 machine. He's currently sitting pretty much dead last of all the drivers who have set a lap time. He's about to finish his second flying lap, so we'll see if he can improve heading through the final chicane past the Wall of Champions and onto the main straight, taking a very conservative line through there. You'll see a couple drivers maybe try and hit some of those white curbs. He's going to cross the line now. Villeneuve, can he improve? Yes, he can. He gains a position. Moshe is relegated to 21st. Nir Mizrahi not qualifying in this session. And pretty much everybody else is not on the circuit except for this man in the number 7 machine, Dorian Tabashnik. He is definitely one of the title contenders, and he's been doing pretty well in recent rounds. In fact, I do believe he is the one that's made the fixed setup for today. So he knows this car pretty well, and especially with his setup, it's going to be an interesting race coming up. We have got 20 laps or 35 minutes, whichever comes first, and we have got a mandatory pit stop. The fuel is limited, so the drivers have to make a pit stop, and so the fuel is limited to 15 liters. These cars don't chew up too much fuel, but the pit window should be between laps 9 and 11, so around about the halfway point of the race you can expect to see the drivers diving into the pit lane to fill up with some fuel so they can make it to the end of the race. And hopefully we don't see too many drivers misjudging that a little bit and running out of fuel. We've seen that in a couple of the rounds so far where we've had a pit window. So here is the results from qualifying then for this 20-lap race coming up at Montreal. We've got Ruben Chachashvili, who's lined up in pole position with Reem Gross alongside, just 700th of a second off in that number 49 machine. Dorian Tabashnik a 10th off in 3rd, then Michael Sherling, Tomer Devra, Sharon Kana, Yaroslav Malkov, Amir Meshalem, Alon Zeltzer and Ariel de Bush rounding out the top 10. Then we've got Madi Bakar and John Chico in 11th and 12th. Oren Sade in 13th, then Yossi Gabai in his bright green car with David Diag in 15th, Sardekel in 16th, Tomer Ventura, Eric Alster, Michael Wasserman and Villeneuve rounding out the top 20 with Moshe Penchevsky and Nir Mizrahi starting from the back of the grid. And I do believe we may have a couple of drivers potentially serving penalties on the grid. So let's see if I can get that information up. No, we have no penalties for this race, so we just got to wait for John Chico, I believe, to get onto the grid, and then we will be underway in just a few minutes for 20 laps or 35 minutes, whichever comes first. Hopefully we don't have too much carnage heading down towards turns 1 and 2. Tightens up quite a lot in the middle of those corners. It's quite wide here on the pit straight. And heading through turns 1 and 2, the left, then the right, the long right-hander tightens up a lot. Very easy to go 3 wide into the corner, but pretty difficult to go even 2 wide out of it. So expect to see a couple drivers facing maybe the wrong way as they head through into the street section of the circuit. But just a few seconds now until we will get underway here for race 12 of the season. And I can hear the driver's rev start to rise. We've got the lights on the middle of the screen now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And we go green for 20 laps at Montreal, and it's a good start there from Chachasvili. He's got Reem Gross around the outside in towards turn number 1. They go side by side. Gross has the inside line now. There's a bit of smoke in the background. A couple drivers going off the circuit. It's like Malcolm Tomadevra as well in that fight, but now side by side. Chachasvili round the outside in towards turns 3 and 4. They're still side by side for the lead. It looks like Reem Gross has just about made it through. Now Dorian Tabashli going down the inside as they head in towards the second of the major braking zones on this circuit through the really awkward tight left-right sequence. Reem Gross pulling away a little bit. Dorian Tabashli's got up into second, and Chachasvili's going to lose another place to Michael Shirley. They're going side by side into the third chicane on the circuit now, as we have lost a couple drivers from the race so far. Climbing up over the curves, Dorian Tabashnik, and now he's got a 1 second gap already to the drivers behind. Can he potentially make a move on Reem Gross? Just 3/10 is the gap between the two of them. And now onto the long back straight they go. This is where we're going to see a lot of the overtaking happen into the hairpin and out of the hairpin down towards the Wall of Champions chicane. Michael Shelling, he's under a bit of pressure there, trying to go for the move on Chachasvili. They're going side by side into the chicane. 2 by 2 definitely doesn't fit here. Shelling does well there, makes the move and moves up into the podium positions. Meanwhile, the two leaders have pulled away just a little bit. There's still this battle though for third place, and now Sharon Kahner going up the inside of Chachasvili, who got pole position but has just gone backwards in this first lap. He's lost 4 positions already on the first lap. It looks like we might have a bit more carnage happening in turns 1 and 2 on this second time by Devra into the pit lane. Oh, and Sharon Kahner going down the inside of Michael Shirley into turn 5. And he makes the move stick as well. Brilliant move for that driver up into third position. Now can Chachasvili make a move on Shirley? This is what we like to see in this series. Good racing. I think we'll just have to hold back for a bit. Shirley actually trying to make a move on Kahner there. But I don't think there's too much in terms of overtaking opportunities into that part of the circuit. But we might see a dive being made now into the hairpin. Shirley trying to go all the way around the outside. He might end up getting a pretty good exit from this. He's had to run a little bit wider than he would want to there, but now he has actually got a pretty good exit. You can see there gaining in the slipstream, going to the left-hand side to the outside now. But the overspeed is going to help him move up into third. Kahner going to try go down the middle. No, he's going to pull out of that one. Smart move as we head into the chicane once again. Oh dear, Kahner, there's contact and Chachasvili is out. Oh, and Ahmed Meshlam collects him. Huge incident in the final chicane there. Ahmed Meshlam probably blindsided by all of the smoke. Goes hard into those two drivers now. Chachasvili in the pits, Ahmed Meshlam in the pits, and Kahner from third place trying to defend that position down into fourth. We're going to see Meshlam now. Let's see what happened then on the replay. Chachasvili in the number 42. Kahner goes up the inside, possibly a little bit late, doesn't leave any room on the inside of the second apex for Michael Shirley, and then Meshlam trying to get out of there and just couldn't, and just slams into the back of them. They're connected. Those two cars are stuck together. Chachasvili and Meshlam. That is exactly what you don't want to see there. For the league organisers, there's a bit of contact being made now. Ariel de Bush in this red and white machine with Matty Bakar just behind. Then Yossi Gabai, who's gained a whole load of places, up into 6th now. He's gained 8 positions. That's the second highest of anyone on the grid at the moment. Nearest Rocky in 11th has gained 11 after starting in 22nd. He has got the most overtakes so far in the first 3 laps of the race, and they're going side by side now into the final chicane. Reem Gross sets the fastest lap of the race as they start lap number 4. down slightly now. You can see a massive gap between the top 3 and then DeBusch in 4th. Because of that incident, everyone had to check up behind. 11 seconds is the gap between DeBusch in 4th and Ringgross in 1st. And Kanan now coming out of the pit lane after we would assume 1 fast repair. The drivers get 2 fast repairs in this race. So Kanan probably taking one of those after the damage sustained in that incident at the final chicane. But the driver's starting to spread out ever so slightly now. However, Thomas Devre here and Michael Wasserman just in front, separated by 4/10 per second. And that's a good exit there. Wasserman's pretty slow out of that corner, using the draft. Thomas Devre now in the number 15 on the inside, going to make a move up into the chicane now down the inside. Michael Wasserman leaves the room and Thomas Devre moves up into 18th. Good move there. Up the inside, Ringgross sets another fastest lap of the race, absolutely flying out there at the moment. Has still got Dorian Tabashnik on his tail there, you can see there in the background of that shot. Only 8/10 is the gap between these 2 drivers, and it's 7 seconds back to the 3rd place driver of Michael Schurling. So without incidents, looks like it's going to be a battle for the win between Ringgross and Dorian Tabashnik, because with these 2 drivers, the quality that they have, you find it difficult to believe that Michael Schurling might end up catching up a 7-second gap to those drivers. It's never really going to happen. Sardekel now into the pit lane, so you've got to assume that's for damage because the pit window is not yet open. As I said earlier, 9, 10, and laps 9, 10, and 11 is the regular pit windows. So taking a fast repair, Sardekel, not too sure what's happened to him, but Ariel DeBusch still leading this second train of cars from 4th place all the way down to around about 10th. The driver's not separated by too much. Sardekel moving out of the pits now, so hasn't retired from the race. That's good to see. And we will keep all 22 cars running in this race. Be interesting to see if Ringgross can set another fastest lap of the race on the 5th time of asking. But Dorian has caught up a bit on this lap actually, so I don't think he would have. Side by side now, showing Kanan moving back up through the field. Tabashnik sets the fastest lap of the race, so he was quite a bit quicker on that lap, gained 3/10 up at the front, but Kanan moving up into 18th. Might have a change of position in the battle for 4th. Matthew Bakar up the inside into turn number 1, good move there. Makes it very easy ahead before turn 2, that was important as well. There's Ariel DeBusch just all over the grass on the outside. Very dangerous stuff there, could have easily lost the car, and the walls are so close through this first sector that any sort of wheel spin going through the corners and it's very easily raced over. And he's got Yossi Gabai all over the back of him now as well, so yeah, definitely not what you want to be seeing. Got David Diag, and he is chasing down Jaroslav Malkov. Diag using some of the curbs, which is interesting. We've seen a lot of drivers avoiding them like the play. We were told that some drivers, you can actually see there's a bit of damage to the front wing of Malkov. David Diag going all the way around the outside on the hairpin. He's actually held it very nicely indeed and gets the better exit because of the outside line he was able to take there, and he makes the move. But is Jaroslav able to make something happen down the back straight? He'll be gaining time in the draft. Actually, it looks like he's losing time. That damage in the front of the car might be a little bit worse than it seems, or maybe he's just fuel safe. We'll have to wait and see. But David Diag up into 12th place nonetheless, and Ringgross setting the fastest lap of the race and gaining another couple of tenths on Dorian Tabashnik on that last time by. What's happened here? Nick is running now. And he is gaining on the 13 of Tomo Ventura up the inside into the final chicane. Makes the move very nicely. And he has moved himself up into 9th position from that move. But Tomo keeping with him. has actually run a little bit deep into that corner there, so loses a bit more time. But yeah, we've got most of the drivers separated by over a second now at this stage in the race. We're just waiting for the pit stops to possibly spice everything back up again. It's all Nick Cotton's way to run a little bit deep into that corner, and that could prove to be a bit of a problem for him. Ventura now 1/10 away. Maybe going to try and make that move we just saw David Dyack do around the outside into the hairpin. No, he's going for the cutback. Let's see if he can pull it off. No. Mir has just held that car. He's just parked it on the apex. Absolutely no way is Toma it's going up the inside of him there. That's good defense actually from Mizrahi there. Tabashik with another fast lap of the race. The two drivers up in first and second, trading fastest lap after lap, and now Michael Shirley taking the fastest lap of the race by around about 300ths of a second. That's the gap between those drivers up in front. Very little separating them in terms of lap time, but unfortunately for Michael Shirley, there's about 6 seconds separating them on track, as suddenly Dorian Tabashnik's caught up to Reem Gross, so Reem must have made a huge mistake somewhere in the first sector. He must have got on the grass maybe. I don't see any damage to his car. But Dorian Tabashnik takes the lead of the race then, and we might have a bit of a battle on our hands now, because Reem Gross is no doubt going to want to try and get that position back, as they're also close into the braking zone. Now heading down in towards the hairpin. You'd think Reem is going to hold back into the hairpin, resist the lunge down the inside, and try and get that easier pass on the main straight. Bit of a lockup from the driver of the 49 there. But now 3/10 back, and he has all of the draft in the world down the back straight. Can he try and make something happen into the chicane? Let's see, he's gaining, he pulls to the right hand side, to the left hand side of the shot now, down the inside. They're going to try and hold it side by side. We saw that end in disaster earlier in the race, but for Reem Gross, he pulls it off. And he retakes the lead of the race, and all of this battling is allowing Michael Shirley to catch up to them. In the back of the shot you can see, there he is in the blue car in the background. The car just behind these two now is actually Amir Meshalam, who is trying to unlap himself. Let's see, this is what happened to Reem Gross then. He doesn't touch the grass on the way in. Oh, he just catches the curb. There's a bit of a lip on the curb on the inside there of the first right-hand apex, and yeah, he's clipped that, and that's what's turned him almost 90 degrees to the track surface, and he's done well to hold on to that one. Oh dear, Reem Gross has lost more. He's down to third now. He's behind Michael Shirley. So whilst we're looking at the replay, what's happened to him? Is it maybe the same thing? We'll have to wait and see. Reem Gross through turn 2 now, leading the pack. And just pulls across. Interesting. Maybe a slowdown penalty from the chicane? I didn't think he cut it. Maybe it was... I don't think it could have been a slowdown. I think he lost way too much time for it to be a slowdown. But maybe it was. We'll have to wait and see, as yeah, Reem Gross losing the lead of the race. We'll see if Michael Shirley can try and catch up, because he's only what, 4 seconds behind at this point. Yeah, so could be interesting. The battle for second at least will be interesting as Gross tries to get back past Michael Shirley. But currently we are looking at Mehdi Bakar, and he has got Felix Jets just in front of him in the 91. Mehdi Bakar in the 277, of course. In the slipstream down the main straight, you won't be able to make any sort of move into the front chicane. But if he prioritizes his exit now as all, diving to the pits is Felix Jets. Actually pulled a bit of a dummy there. I thought he was looking to take the corner at least. And now, Mehdi Bakar gains a couple of positions. So into the pits, Yaroslav Malkov and Svi Lachetz are both into the pit lane. It is lap 10 now, so you'd expect the leaders to be making a pit stop on this lap or the next. But they might have done a bit of fuel saving and been able to go that one extra lap, which could help a lot. Save time in the pit stop. You'll have to put less fuel in the car at the end. So we'll see what happens here as the leaders are coming down the main straight now. And Dorian Tabashnik going to pass. Pit entry and doesn't take it. Is Michael Sherling going to take pit entry? No. So none of the top three making their way down into the pits this time by. Someone has just come out of the pits. It's Michael Wassman coming out of the pits now. Oh no, possibly towing to the pits. Adjusting by decides to make his way into the pits, and someone's going to join him. That's Alan Deltzer just in the background of the shot there. We're starting to see some pit stops, and John Chico going to gain a couple of positions here and has already made a pit stop. So these are positions that he'll keep. So he pitted on lap 1, sorry. He pitted on lap 1 obviously for damage, so he'll have to pit again. But he might be able to go a couple of extra laps compared to the rest of them. So we'll see what happens to John Chico. But the pit lane very busy, as you can see on the screen there. Lots of drivers now making their way out of the pit lane. But here is the battle for second. Surely these two, and driver 4 seconds up the road from them, of Dorian Tabashnik, are going to make their way into the pit lane this time by. Otherwise, they would be doing a lot of fuel saving. Reem Gross hard on the brakes in towards the hairpin. Doesn't get the best of exits compared to Michael Sherling. And you'd assume if they're going to go into the pits, you're not going to want to try and go side by side. The pit entry isn't very wide. But I think he might be, you know. He's going to the left-hand side in towards the chicane, possibly forcing Sherling. No, he lets him past. So probably the safe option there, probably the smart option as well. Dorian Tabashnik also into the pits just in front. That was Emma Meshland that we saw taking the chicane in front. He, of course, had to pit after lap 2, so he'll have a couple of extra laps of fuel in the tank, but he has now unlapped himself. Let's see what the pit stops are like, because the drivers don't have to fill up all the way. This will be a little bit of driver judgment and calculation to see how much they fuel up. And oh, Reem Gross has missed his pit box slightly. That's going to lose him a little bit of time there. And yeah, you can see he's quite a bit further back than he was to begin with now. Bit of a dusty line on the exit, on the outside of turn 2 on the pit exit. You can see he's lost quite a bit of time from that one. So yeah, pit window, pit stop's not going too well for Reem Gross. Now Ruben Chech's really also someone who had to pit very early on in the race, pitted on lap 3, so he'll be able to go a good couple more laps before he has to make a pit stop. You're going side by side once again, all over the curbs for Eric Alster. Sheeran Kahner making a move down the inside into the chicane once again, so getting the old elbows out there. That's a bit of a battle for 8th as well. 8th, 9th and 10th all in the same shot. John Chico sending it up the inside of Warren Sade. Makes the move stick. Does he? Just about gets the better exit there as well. Now Nick Masari might have something to say about this as well. As Chico pulling to the right hand side, trying to break the draft as much as possible. Warren Sade under pressure from Nick Up. Now side by side with the chicane. Oh, and he just has to back out of it there. Does Nunes Rahi. But he will have the inside line for the hairpin, so no doubt he's going to lunge up the inside now. Hard on the brakes, no lockup. And he makes the move quite nicely, and away he goes out into the distance. Onside is going to have the draft though, 2 tenths is the gap between them. Might have a good opportunity of making a move here into the chicane. Into the left-hand side, that's the line that was given to him, and they're going side by side, but he does pull out of that one. And it's actually given him a bit of an advantage because Nick Kopp wasn't expecting him to and took a really awkward line through there. We might see Owen Sade try and make a move down into turn number 1 now. David Dyke at the back of the shot as well, getting involved in things shortly. Side by side down into turn 1, but he has to back out. But now David Dyke right on the back of these two. Nick Kopp to David Dyke, 7/10 of a second between them, so you'd imagine that they're going to get pretty close between these three a bit later on in the lap when they get into the hairpin section. But for the leaders, there are 7 laps to go. And Dorian Tabashnik out in front, leading by about 4 seconds. Maintaining that gap pretty nicely. Michael Sherling and Reem Gross separated by about a second out in second and third. And this is the battle for fourth. Arrow the Bush has got Maddie Picard just behind, and Yossi Gabai in the green car in the distance. Maddie Picard going to try and go around the outside and towards the chicane, but probably going to back out of it, you'd assume. Yep, does so, and Arrow the Bush keeps that position for another corner. Side by side into the chicane for Ventura. In the 13, oh, it's cut the chicane, going to get a slowdown for that one as well. Possibly some floor damage too over the curb. Hit that curb pretty hard. Near Cop takes the position into 12th place. Battle for fourth outside of the top three. Heating up a little bit. Maddie Picard going around down the inside through this left-hand bend, but now we'll have the outside line through the hairpin. Big lunge up the inside for Ariel de Bush to keep the position, but the cutback is beautiful from Maddie Picard. Ariel de Bush holds the outside line pretty well there and gets a good exit, but with 210 separating them, surely, unless he takes hard inside line defense. You can see Maddie Picard going around the outside. He's got a bit of overspeed into the braking zone, cuts in front. Good move. You'll see by catching up to these two drivers now as well, because they're battling and losing time all of the time. So Yossi's going to get involved in this one, try and gain a top 5 finish, capitalise on some of the faster guys in the series getting taken out near the start. Shirin Kana as well. We've got Amir Meshalam, Ruben Chachishvili all being taken out in that one incident on lap 3. Here is Amir Meshalam catching up to Michael Wasserman, who we've seen being overtaken by all of the drivers that have been taken out of the race in the opening stages so far. And Amir Meshalam just trying to hold on to the car there. It doesn't look like that car's holding up too well, actually. As he makes his way into the hairpin, we're going to see a replay of something here. Oh dear. Well, that explains why he took a bit of a hesitant line through the hairpin on the last lap, because the lap before, he did that, and yeah, down into the pit lane he goes. So we expect that's for his scheduled pit stop after pitting on, I believe it was lap 4 that he ended up pitting on Amir Meshalam. But he pitted right in front of the battle for second here. Michael Scherling trying to fend off Reem Gross. Reem, of course, was leading the race for quite a few laps before making a couple of errors. Like I said, Yossi Gabai trying to get himself a top 5 finish. This is going to be a good points haul. Yossi's done pretty well actually in the last couple of rounds, quite surprising himself. Just capitalizing on other drivers maybe not doing their best, and being really consistently up in the top 5, 6, 7 places in recent weeks. Looks like tonight is absolutely no exception, as the leaders of this race very shortly will be starting lap 17 with 4 laps to go. It does look like Doreen Tabashnik is out there in front doing very well indeed. Michael Scherling just about able to hold off from Reem Gross, but now there's only a 10th separating them, less than a car length. He defends the inside line, but is it going to be enough? Reem Gross around the outside into the chicane, no. Good defense from Michael Scherling, but Reem has prioritized his exit, and now he's going to have all the overspeed in the world. Heading down towards turns 1 and 2, now we'll have the inside for 1, which will become the outside for 2, but doesn't send it up the inside. He'll wait for a later move. Michael Scherling is to keep second place for another lap because it looks like green grass all over the back of him. Less than 2 tenths separating the two as they head down into 4 and 5. And Grass has got all over the grass and he's around. And where is Matty Bakari? He's about 16 seconds back, so luckily he's not going to lose third place, but that looks like it might just be second place off the card for Reem Gross now, just pushing a bit too hard. And yeah, he's lost out on what could have been a second place finish. You can see here he goes on the inside of the corner here, a little bit too much. He turns left too quickly, maybe put off a little bit by following Sherling so closely. Was unsighted a bit. I think there might have been a slight tap to the wall behind for the rear wing, but there will be no damage to that car. But yeah, he's going to be not very happy with himself, I can imagine. So it looks like he'll have to settle for third place in this one. Yaroslav Markov getting a bit over the curbs there. He's got Oren Sade in front. 4 tenths of a second up the road, and the car maybe not pointing totally straight. Maybe that was just an odd angle that I was looking at it from, but Yaroslav in 10th, looking forward to Oren Sade. He's 4 tenths back, so he won't be able to catch up in time to make a move. Interestingly, not going into the draft. Not too sure why that is. We're down into the chicane, gaining a lot of time under braking, losing a little bit of time on the exit though. He wasn't as quick through the corners as Oren Sade was. 3 laps to go then. Through 1 and 2, up over the curb a little bit there. That can unsettle the car a little bit. You can see it had to be a little bit hesitant on the throttle in order to not spin the car around, because he's lifted the rear wheels off the circuit by putting his inside tyres onto that curb there. He's done the same thing here as well, up onto the curb. You see he's just losing ever so slightly to Oren Sade out of the corners, and that's allowing Oren to keep this 9th place despite Yaroslav being in the draft for most of the lap. Now up over the curbs here, and you can see Oren Sade not having the best line through there, maybe running a little bit too deep, and now we're going to see the driver with the number 233 around the outside in towards the hairpin. Is he going to make it stick all the way around the outside? Not quite, but will get a very good exit. You can see now that gap starting to increase between the two of them. Neither of them has draft. Oren Sade actually has the inside line, which matters more than you'd think. And still side by side, Oren Sade is going to start to get a little bit of side draft now and gain a little bit of speed over Yaroslav. And you can see down into the braking zone, he'll retake 9th place, and Malkov loses out once again. He must be thinking, what can I possibly do to get around Oren? His defense has actually been pretty good over the last couple of laps. And they come to start lap number 19, just 2 laps to go for these drivers, halfway around that lap already. Dorian Tabashnik, who just has 1.5 laps to go until he takes the checkered flag in this 12th race of the season. Brilliant line through turns 3 and 4 there for Yaroslav Malkov. They're going to try and go side by side through turn 5, no. But maybe a dive in towards turn number 6. Yes, he sends it up the inside. Will have the outside line for turn 7, but it keeps off the curb. And that's brilliant stuff there. Gets all the speed around the outside of turn 7. And he makes the move up into 9. You can see David Dyack trying to get involved in this one as well in 11th. Maybe trying to get into that top 10. Oren Sade looking down the inside into that chicane there, but obviously never going to try and make a move at that tight of an angle. But now David Dyack well and truly involved in this battle as Dorian Tabashnik takes the white flag. Final lap for him. He's got about 0.8 of a lap left in this race, and now the drafting train starting to form here for the final positions of the top 10. None of them close enough to try and make a move. Matty Bakar from 6th into the pits, potentially a splash and dash. Or maybe an incident penalty, because the drivers do have an incident limit in this race, but he's going to lose all of these points. So David Diag now will move up into 10th as he passes Madibakar in the pit lane and might move up into 9th as well, down the inside of Warren Sade, but he won't be able to make that move and he just has to hang back through turn 2. But this man, Dorian Tabashnik, coming around with a hairpin now, just one braking zone separates himself from the checkered flag and yet another win in the iRacing Israel League in Season 4. Down through the chicane, you can see Michael Sherling in the background getting a little bit of draft from Chachafedi, I believe it is. Through the chicane then, no mistakes there. Darts to the inside, to the pit wall, and it will be Dorian Tabashnik who takes the win here at Montreal for race 12 of the season. Michael Sherling crosses the line to finish second, and Reem Gross, what could have been, well and truly in the lead of the race up until the middle of the race there. And Ariel DeBush will come across the line in just a moment to finish 4th. Very good result there from Ariel. And Yossi Gabai will move up into 5th, gaining 9 positions in the race and finishes once again in the top 5. Brilliant race from Yossi there. Let's see who's gained the most places out of anyone. It is Yossi Gabai with 9 places gained, so he'll gain another 4 championship points there as well in the championship, which is quite important as Dorian Tabashnik is doing donuts in pit entry, or pit exit even, by the pace car. Last couple of drivers now to cross the finish line. And oh dear, David Diag. Well, you can rev that car all you like, mate. The wheels are off the ground and not connected to your car anymore, so that car's not going anywhere. What has happened there to David Diag? How has he got so much damage to that car? He must have straight lined it through the chicane. Surely no. Oh, that was extremely close. I think it was Oren Sade, not Oren Sade. Toma Devra maybe. That Anir Mizrahi actually that just about managed to avoid it out of turn 7. What's happened here to David Dyer? Has he just launched it over? I think he's just launched it over the curves here. He has launched it over the curves, bang! Into the wall. None of those wheels are now connected to that car, and you can see he revs the car. But when the wheels aren't connected to your car, they're not going to do much in terms of giving you any sort of forward motion, unfortunately. Nirkot Mazrari going slowly. Oh dear. Has he run out of fuel? He has. He's in neutral. Oh, and that's awful. There is a slight downward slope, I believe, on the pit straight, but I don't think it's enough. He's slowing and slowing, and that car is going to come to a halt just a few grid slots short of the start-finish line. He won't finish the race. No, 0.03 laps he was behind, and he won't finish the race. How unfortunate for Nir Mizrahi. After gaining 7 places, he started dead last. But yeah, he's going to finish. He's not going to finish. That's very unfortunate for him. Race results up on the screen then. We've got Dorian Tabashnik, of course, taking the win by 3.4 seconds. So Michael Sherling in second, making that gap a little bit smaller near the end of the race. Reem Grotz, of course, with a couple of mistakes, could have potentially won this race, but the inconsistency leaves him in third. Then Ariel DeBush in fourth. Yossi Gabai yet again in the top 5. Brilliant result for the driver of the bright green car. Alan Zeltzer in 6th. Then John Chico, Yaroslav Malkov, Oran Sadi and Madi Bakar in the top 10. Toma Devra and Shirin Kana, who was very quick today, but unfortunately got involved in that massive incident at the start of the race, as did Amir Meshlem and Reuven Chachashvili, who we'll see in just a few moments. Toma Ventura in 13th, then Svila Schetz in 14th, started in 20th, so good moving up the field there from Svi. David Diag in 15th, Nirkot Mazrari not finishing the race, about 50 meters away from the finish line, unfortunately running out of fuel there at the end. Reuven Chachashvili involved in that lap 3 incident. Arik Alster, Michael Wasserman, Sardeko and Meshlem also involved in that lap 3 incident. Those 3 drivers of Shirin Kainat, Ruven Chachashvili and Amin Meshlam, you'd expect them to be right up at the front of the field. But yes, it was unfortunate to see them down where they are. The drivers do have a couple of drop weeks, I believe, so it's not the end of the world, but yeah, it wasn't the best results for them today. And Wojciech Maciejewski finishes 22nd and last out there today. But nobody more than a lap down, so that's better than normal. I think everybody finished the race except for David Diag and Nick Masrai. So yeah, everyone doing a pretty good job out there. It was fairly clean, which is it's good to see. Right, we have got some drivers waiting for an interview. I think the only logical place to start with interviews would be the race winner. So let's get Mr. Dorian Tabashnik into the commentary booth now, and he joins us now. Dorian, can you hear us?
Yes, fellas. How are you?
Oh, not bad, and I can guess it's the same for yourself after another win in Season 4 of the iRacing Israel League.
Yeah, I needed that one. I'm working on a championship lead because Alan Day is off doing real-world stuff. That leaves us shed dwellers to try to see who's best among the rest. So I need every win I can get because I'm out of drop weeks. That was a good one. I didn't have the pace, as you could see. I didn't have the pace for pole position, not even for a second. Ram did a great job in his quality.
Yeah, absolutely. But you just capitalized on some of the drivers in front's mistakes. I think it was Ruven who stuck it on pole position, but went backwards at the start of the race. I think he was down in 5th by the end of the first lap. Do you know what happened there?
I think he was put in a in an awkward position by Rem when he got forced to the outside on turn 2. There's no grip there, especially on cold tires. So as soon as he was there, he lost a bunch of pace, and then they went side by side into the first chicane, which is, a pace killer because they just went really slow, and that opened the door for me around the outside for the following corner. And yeah, I'm very proud of that move, I have to say. I made it stick. But yeah, I don't know what happened after that. He just lost it altogether. I think he had a mishap with Shiran, maybe? I'm not sure.
Yes, I think it was those two and Michael Scherling.
Right,
Was it Michael? I think it might have been Scherling. So another driver in there as well. I think it was Scherling. And those two then got collected by Amir.
Oh,
and
shame.
all 3 of them had to go and pit for repairs. So they ended up far down the order. But it would have been good to see them up there at the front battling with you guys.
Yeah, all through practice, I was just practicing the outlap because I know how treacherous it could be here. Just a little bit of understeer and you're in a wall, and it doesn't matter which corner, you're going to be in a wall. So I was just practicing that. I wasn't practicing qualifying and, just the full race stint as much as I did speeding it on the first outlap. And I think that paid off because I was on point and I was ready to make moves right off the bat, and that gave me a lot of headroom.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Michael started to catch up the gap just a little bit near the end there. Were you worried at all after the pit stop that he might catch up the gap fully, or did you think that you had the pace to keep him behind you?
Well, I was worried I might have to push really hard because I was putting it around 95% throughout the race, knowing that a 30 flat, all things considered, or a 30, a low 30, would put me in a good spot to either win or be on podium because I had no pressure from Ruven, who is my main competitor for the championship. So I was put in a nice spot. I said if he's gonna catch up, he's gonna catch up, because if I'll start going 100%, it's a good chance I'll end up sideways into the wall of champions. So I did a little bit of risk management there. But yeah, everybody had great pace, really good pace. The level has really increased over this season. There were like 5 of us who were neck and neck in terms of pace. It was all about, how the race turned out.
Absolutely. Well, the next round of the championship, we are going to Silverstone GP for an extra long race. It's going to be 40 minutes. And there'll be 2 pit stops as well. We saw last time we went to Silverstone, we had some pit entry mishaps. Quite a few drivers actually getting pit entry penalties for speeding, because the entry there is very easy to lock up. It's very bumpy and dusty. So that's going to be a bit of an interesting one. There were 2 pit stops.
Yeah, I wish I had more drop weeks. I hate that track. I really do. I don't get along with Silverstone at all. It would require me. It would require a lot of practice to get up to pace there, and I won't be enjoying it. I can tell you that much. It won't be much fun, but no choice. Have to get on with it. It's gonna be tricky all throughout the race because it's a long lap, and there's plenty of places you can make mistakes, and there's tons of overtaking opportunities as well. And a lot of places that you can draft. So it could be a very exciting race. It's a nice open circuit. So it's actually very good for racing. For some reason, I just don't get along with it. I think you guys will see proper neck-and-neck racing there. Hopefully.
Yeah, exactly. We hope to see that. That's what we always hope for. And yeah, Dorian, congratulations on yet another win in the season. And yeah, looking forward to 2 weeks' time before we let you go. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, shout out to whoever took out Grooven. I'm just joking. No. Shout out to him. He really showed up today. He's shown massive improvements. Did you know he's only driving with one hand?
Yes.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
He's doing a brilliant job there.
Yeah. All right. That's it. Thanks, guys.
Thank you for joining us, Dorian. And yeah, see you in 2 weeks.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Well, next up then, into the interview waiting area, we have got, let's see, who we've got here. I'm going to go with Michael Scherling, because he did finish in second today, so let's bring him into the interview room just now. Let's get him in here, and he joins us now. Michael, can you hear us?
Yeah, hey guys.
Well, second place today. You had to work for it, especially near the end of the race there, after the pit stop, defending from Rim. You had a pretty busy race there.
Yeah, it was an exciting race at the beginning. I was trying to be a bit careful at the start, let's say, and we had amazing race. Me, Ruven, and Shiran. Was a couple of laps of very close battles. Too bad it ended up like this eventually. And yeah, I was sure Rahem and Dorian are far away, but then Rahem had some mistake, and we had amazing fight also. Especially it was crazy going into the pits side by side. So yeah, it was interesting.
Hey, you did end up going side by side. You gained a little bit of time in the pit stop, maybe half a second or so, and then he was right back on your tail, and you fended him off for a while, and then eventually he was just pushing a little bit too hard and ended up pinning it behind you. But at any point during that race, did you think you had the pace to catch up to Dorian? I think the gap was around about 4 seconds for most of the race near the end there. Did you think you could catch him?
No way. I saw it's the gap is getting smaller, but probably because taking it easy. Because best case scenario, we are the same pace. So I didn't think about it. I just thought about fending from Rahem, and happy I was able eventually to do it. I think he was a bit faster than me.
Maybe, but yeah, not next week, 2 weeks time, the next round of the championship at Silverstone Grand Prix circuit, an extra long race with 2 pit stops. What are you thinking heading into the next round?
I really like Silverstone. Never drove it with the F3, so I think it will be very interesting. We'll see.
Absolutely. Well, Michael, thank you so much for joining us in the interview room today. Congrats on the second place, of course. And before we let you go, is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, guys, thank you very much.
Well, that was Michael Scherling, and it was great to have him in for a chat. And yeah, we'll see you in 2 weeks. Right, so I think we've got time for one more. Let's get, who have we got else in here? We have got Rim, so let's get the driver who finished in 3rd place into the commentary box now for a quick word. And he joins us now. Rim, can you hear us?
Yes. Hey.
Well, maybe a bit of a disappointing race for you, despite finishing 3rd place, which is a brilliant finishing position. You possibly could have won that race there.
Yes, but for me it's a great race. I'm competing with one hand still, and I'm amazed how much I'm improving from race to race. So I'm really happy about the result.
Absolutely, and since you're racing on one arm at the moment, and still very much fighting at the front of the field, the other drivers probably a bit worried that when you eventually get back to two arms, you're going to be a little bit quicker than them.
Yeah, I think I will be a little bit quicker, about 2 tenths, and Sherling and Dorian all talk about it when I come back to myself.
Yeah, well, you did you were very quick out there today, and unfortunately, there's two mistakes. At some point you slowed down, but after turn 2 to let Dorian pass, and then eventually Michael as well. Was that a slowdown from the Wall of Champions chicane?
Yeah, I hit the curb too much and got a slowdown for 3 seconds, and Sherling, it was a big mistake. And Sherling caught me, and this is the end.
Yeah, and then going side by side with Michael into the pit entry. Eventually, you backed out of that one, but I thought that could have ended a little bit worse.
Yeah, I was really afraid. I didn't know what Sherling about to do, and I was letting down the gas pedal.
Heading into the next round, then Silverstone. A long race, 2 pit stops. What are your thoughts heading into the next round?
I really love this track. It's an amazing track. In the previous season in the Porsche, was really quick. I think in the F3 I will be even faster than now. So I really wait to compete there.
Well, Rim, thank you for joining us in the commentary box, and congratulations on the 3rd place, of course. Before we let you go, is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yes, thank you guys. Thanks Amir for all the hard work. Thank you Ariel Dabush for sponsor my place in iRacing Israel League. Thank you all.
Well, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
See you.
Well, it was great to hear from Reem there, in finishing in 3rd place there at the end, and you're doing a brilliant job. And it was good to hear from our top 3 finishers. I think we've still got a couple minutes left, so why not get one more driver in for a quick chat? Let's speak to Ariel Dabush, 4th place. We've got the whole top 4 in the interview waiting area, so let's have a quick word to the driver finishing just outside of the podium positions. Let's have a chat with him, and he does join us now. Ariel, can you hear us?
Yes, of course. How are you guys?
Oh, not bad. And 4th place for you today. Pretty good result.
Yeah, it was a tough race. Yossi Gabay and Madi Bakar was so much faster than I am. I almost didn't practice at all, so I didn't know what to expect on this race, but I'm happy.
Yeah, absolutely. You were under pressure for quite a bit near the end of the race there from Yossi and Maddie as well.
Yeah.
How difficult was it to stay in front? Because obviously you've got the really long straight there where it's pretty easy to get up alongside into the chicane, but you seem to have the defensive line through there absolutely perfect.
Yeah, I tried to protect my place, so I did late breaks every time. I tell you, it wasn't so easy like it's looking in the video.
Absolutely, I wouldn't expect it to. It looked like you had your work cut out for you there. Silverstone is up next. What are your thoughts on that circuit? We've got mixed opinions. Dorian Tabashnik said he doesn't like the circuit, but Mikhail and Reem both say that they love the circuit. What are your opinions?
Opinion is my favorite track, so I really expected it from start of the season. So I'm really excited.
Well, that's interesting then. And heading into Silverstone, it's going to be an extra long race as well, 40 minutes long. So you should have even more time to use that extra advantage you have and try
I
and
hope
get even
so.
more positions.
No, I don't think I will get the pole position, but I hope so. I will get to the podium in the race.
That's always a good thing to aim for, of course. And I'm looking forward to it. It should be a good race. Obviously, quite a wide track, so good overtaking opportunities quite spread throughout the track. So yeah, it should be a good one. What do you think?
Yeah, I hope so. That's what I can say. We can't know, but I hope so. It will.
Absolutely. Well, Ariel, thank you so much for joining us in the interview room. Congratulations on the 4th place tonight, and we will see you in 2 weeks. But before we let you go, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Thanks to you guys. Thank you, Yossi Gabay, for a good race, and Madi Bakar. I didn't think I will enjoy in race like this. So thank you. Thanks everyone. Thanks Amir for organizing the league, and see you in Silverstone.
Absolutely. See you in 2 weeks.
Bye.
Well, that is all we have time for tonight. We've just seen some brilliant racing, probably some of the best racing we've seen all season, probably except for that special event with the street stocks at Charlotte, which is probably the best race we've had all season. But Circuit Gilles Villeneuve put on a good show for us here in the iRacing Israel League, presented by Sim Race Season 4 in the F3 cars, as you may have heard a couple of times during the interviews. Silverstone is up next in 2 weeks' time, so hopefully we will see you all there. Good luck to Alon Day, a regular in the iRacing Israel League, not here because he is heading out to Spain for round 1 of the Euro NASCAR Whelen Series. So good luck to him, 3-time champion of that series. We'll see if he can do it for a 4th time this year. Fingers crossed for him. But yeah, good luck to Alon Day, and thanks everybody for watching race 12 of the season here at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, and we'll see you in 2 weeks at Silverstone.